This video will be an introduction to hydrocarbons, which are carbon-hydrogen compounds. Let me find a support document right here. See if I can upload that. And if you look at the yellow sheet that you have, or I believe it's page 4 of your homework packet, you're going to have the rules for electron dot structures, and then also some rules for naming hydrocarbons. Okay, so here are some rules that we'll go to that in our next video, but I just want to do an introduction to some of the simplest hydrocarbons that we have. So the first one here we have is methane, which is CH4. And looking behind me, I think I see CH4 right here. And it is a carbon with 4 hydrogens attached, looks like this in 3D. We've drawn electron dot structures for this. A shorthand way to do this is, instead of dots, doing a stick. And because they are hydrocarbons, instead of writing all the H's at the end of the sticks, we just assume there's an H at the end of each stick or at the end of each bond. So this would be CH4. This is assumed to be CH4 in a shorthand form. This is methane. This is the simplest hydrocarbon. This will be found in natural gas. A lot of you probably heat your homes with that, or may have a gas stove, and that would be natural gas right there. And it's a gas out of our Bunsen burners. Okay, the next hydrocarbon up would be with 2 carbons and with 6 hydrogens, and we call that ethane, C2H6. So 2 carbons, and there's 4 bonds to each carbon. When there's 4 bonds to each carbon and how they bond up, it would lead to 6 hydrogens. That is ethane. There's probably a little ethane mixed in with the methane that we have as a hydrocarbon as well. Okay, so that would be the 3D of this structure right here. Notice 109-degree bond angles because it's based off the tetrahedron carbon right here. The next one I'm going to go to is propane, and propane would be C3H8, and it's 3 carbons. If we look at this in 3D, we actually see that it zigzags more, but this would be there, and propane would probably be like a gas grill would be a common thing that you'd have. You could keep going to 4 carbons, C4H10, and butane lighters would have this, which would be a liquid under pressure, but without being under pressure, it would be a gas at room temperature. And we can keep going on and on with these hydrocarbons, pentane, hexane for 6 carbon chain, heptane for a 7 carbon chain, and so on. If I had candle wax, it would be C25H52. Notice as you get bigger molecules, the melting point, boiling point will increase. Once you get to C5, you really have liquids at room temperature. C25 is clearly a solid candle wax at room temperature, or paraffin. Okay, just a couple things. We're going to talk about branches on these in another video, but there are some functional groups. What if I have 2 carbons that are double bonded? Instead of calling it ethane, we're going to call that ethene. Okay, and the formula would be C2H4 because we took 2 carbons off of this, which allowed us to double bond this. So this would be ethane right here. 2 carbons, all single bonds with 6 hydrogens. This would be ethene with a double bond, and of the 2 carbons, and then 4 hydrogens, 2 hydrogens on each one. So if ethane is a all single bonds, ethene includes a double bond, then an alkyne would include a triple bond, and that would be this one right here, 2 carbons triple bonded to each other, and then there's a hydrogen on each end right here. Another more common name for this is acetylene, okay, used in acetylene torches, but that would be right here. Okay, there is one more group I want you to be familiar with, and that is the alcohol group. And it looks like right here, I have ethanol. It is just like C2H2, except I have an OH group at the end, and an OH group signifies an alcohol. And because it's an alcohol, it gets an ANOL ending. So the ethane becomes ethanol. Okay, and this would be a gas additive. It's also used in grain alcohol, which would be alcoholic beverages. Okay, I think that's it for our basic introduction of functional groups and some of the alkane roots that we have for naming things. Thank you for watching.